Skiing is a subculture that has developed from 5000 BC, originating as a method of transport to eventually become one of our favourite leisure activities. As snowboarding became more prominent on slopes throughout the world, skiing took a backseat. However, within the last 10 or so years, it is back and better than ever, thanks to its competitive rival. On one side, the traditionally upper-class rich kid skiers who wanted the slopes free of these rude, dangerous, disrespectful hoodlums with their baggy trousers and trash and thrash attitude. On the other, a rapidly growing army of young, enthusiastic new snowboarders, scornful of skiing's conservative yuppie style, pumped full of teenage angst, and reveling in the sport's rebellious image. The contemporary subculture of freestyle skiing has changed dramatically since snowboarding became mainstream, from fashion to equipment to ski style itself. The idea of cool dramatically changed as snowboarders entered the slopes, leaving skiing as being a sport for the snobby older generation, inherently tragic. This was all soon to change as skiers began to incorporate aspects of their snowboarding culture into their own, setting a new benchmark for what was to be considered cool. A subculture can be described as a particular group in society holding certain cultural values and behavioural traits. Using the self-concept theory, we are able to understand the subculture of skiing further, its relations to snowboarding, and the way in which marketers exploit beliefs and values of the culture in pursuit of profit. The self-concept theory and consumer behaviour explains the way in which consumers change and enhance perception of themselves through purchasing certain brands and goods. Self-concept theory can also be applied to the skiing subculture, who buys certain brands and products to define, protect, and further the group, especially in relation to snowboarding. Presenting oneself in a manner considered cool is typical of the skiing clan. Brand managers must be aware of this to appeal to the select group in order to choose their products to represent themselves. Consumers feel as though brands have a symbolic meaning, or image surrounding them, which assists in the skiing subculture defining themselves as cool. The emergence of snowboarding provided a threat to skiers' cool status on the mountain, the subculture of which could be described as having broken away from tradition. In order to challenge snowboarders, skiers began to ditch the tight ski gear and opted for a more baggy snowboard style, opening up market opportunities for many well-known snowboard brands to penetrate the skiing segment. Consumer behaviour and that of ski subculture is motivated towards furthering and enhancing self-concept skiers use snowboarding to do so. As snowboarding became more mainstream, which could be due to the style rip-off from skiers, skiing suddenly came back into its own, having had more opportunities opened up, such as terrain parks and the availability of jumps. This meant in the more snowboard-like twin-tip skis that are the norm today, but far from the norm of ages ago. The two sports, which originally brought together two very different types of fashion, style, attitude, and personality in the same arena, have now blurred their boundaries to a large extent. What was once thought of as nothing more than passing fad has dug its edge deep into the piece of the world, from Austria to Australia and the park and the pipe. Once thought of as exclusive snowboard territory has now become home to skiers too. Marketers need to understand not only the skiing subculture, but all subculture in terms of self-concept theory and consumer behaviour, so that they are able to capitalise on the continuous quest for skiers to look cool on the mountain by purchasing certain product brands to represent themselves as a subculture.
Yeah, I do.
Why?
I just think there's so much more things you can do on skis. You can pretty much do twice as many grabs as you can do on a snowboard, and in my opinion it just looks way more steezy when you're pulling things off on skis than compared to a snowboard. Like my skis or like my...
Both.
I've got K2 skis, I've got like a puffer jacket. Yeah, I don't know, I got some Rossignol ski boots.
Nice.
They do the job.
At the moment, I ride for Vocal skis, Marker bindings, Technica boots, Smith optics, Bula headgear. Smith makes me helmets too. That's a good one. Empire gloves, so nice. Clothing, Skull Candy headphones, Tramdoc.com, Breckenridge Ski Resort. That's a good one.
So my fault, what?
I'm from New Hampshire, on the East Coast. The Ice Coast.
You could see me there, but I wouldn't hold your breath.
I'd probably consider myself to be an intermediate snowboarder. It's pretty cool. It's better than skiing, I reckon. I don't know, pretty laid back, pretty casual in the old baggy pants, strolling around.
I'm probably an intermediate to advanced snowboarder. I've been snowboarding for 3 years now.
Cool. What's your perception of snowboarding?
Snowboarding's pretty cool. It's a good opportunity to get outside and meet a lot of people as well.
How would you describe a snowboarder?
That's one of the things I like about snowboarding, is that you can really be anyone. There's no real rules.
Cool. How would you describe the sport of snowboarding?
Snowboarding, I probably think, is more of a lifestyle than a sport. It's an amazing thing to do, get out and out in the mountains.
Yep, sure. Do you reckon skiing is cooler than snowboarding?
There's definitely good aspects to both, but I prefer snowboarding.
Sure. How often would you ride during the season?
As much as I can. So far, 32 days this season.